Alright, now you have me who's been telling you for over 20 years that the NBA is fixed. It's controlled. And that we already know. But I was waiting to see what would be the response to Ayesha Curry's, her issues that she had on Twitter. Not about the league being rigged, but about the other things that they weren't talking about at first. It took ESPN a little while to catch up. So I wanted to wait and see what they say as the response as to why the buses of the families were being delayed. And just as I suspected, this prejudiced, racist, in my opinion, owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers and his staff, once again, this isn't the first time this has happened. They were delayed before. Now, I'm not an expert on these situations, I wouldn't say. But I think if I was an owner and I had the visiting team's family coming into our stadium, their safety, their security should reign first. Because they're visiting our facility. We don't want any problems happening there. So I want to make sure they're okay. Because they're traveling. As I would hope they would extend to my team's family when they come to their arena. It's called hospitality. If someone comes into your home, you want to make sure they're taken care of appropriately. But here, they took the time and opportunity to blame Jay Z and Beyonce. Now they didn't have the balls or the courage to put their name on it. They're gonna anonymously leak it to ESPN that it was Jay Z and Beyonce as the reason why the team had to be waiting out there. And if that's the case, then this would be a one-time isolated incident. But if this has happened before, Jay Z and Beyonce wasn't there the time before then, why did it happen then? But no, let's just dump the whole thing on Jay Z and Beyonce. Yeah, let's dump it on the only other black people we can. Let's find some black celebrities to blame it on. It's ridiculous. And it's weak. And that's why they didn't even put their name to it. Sources said that the reason they talked to ESPN. Why wouldn't the sources reveal themselves? Why are you being anonymous when you're making that type of statement? Because the Cleveland Cavaliers didn't want to be associated with a comment like that. Because they know how bad a comment like that looks or sounds. But it's okay because it's going to bounce on social media. Jay Z and Beyonce causes Steph Curry and them wife to have to sit back. And they had to wait till Jay Z and Beyonce got down and got a seat. Then why were they delayed before? Oh, we had heavy traffic. No, they should be greenlit. This is the family of the players. Some players may be on your team. I think you would want to show them a little bit of courtesy. But this is an owner who basically called LeBron James everything except for the N-word. He probably called him the N-word. I believe he called him the N-word when he got home. He called him every name in the book when he went to Miami. Then begged on his hands and knees when you brought him back. Got on your hands and knees for LeBron. This is a guy who told Kyrie Irving, this is your team. We want you, and signed him to a long-term deal. Without telling him anything, the very next week, they signed LeBron James. The very next week after signing Kyrie Irving, Kyrie went up to the office and was like, "What the heck is this? You lied to me." And he's like, "I swear to you, we got a call. LeBron wanted to come back home. We had no idea this was happening, but this is still your team. It just makes us better to go to the championship. That's all, and get a world title. But this is still your team." So when I tell y'all it's Kyrie Irving's team, that's exactly what I meant. Now the media gonna tell you it's LeBron's team, but Kyrie just got to play his role. But it's his team, as told to him by the owner. Now, where were we? Ayesha Curry being blamed. Now, this racial profiling situation. Let's talk about that. Her father was racially profiled from a guy named David, I think his name, Amusa or something like that, and said, "Oh, he fit the description." So, here's what's troubling about that situation. Not only did he have identification saying that he's not the person that they're talking about, not only did he have that, he had his credentials as well. They're trying to arrest him without even going through a procedure. They're already treating him as if he's a criminal and trying to arrest him. Then come to find out the person that they're talking about was like, "Hey, I never was bad. All my credentials were good." The person whose name it is. Somebody, I guess, got caught, they said, in New York last year trying to sneak into the event. But it wasn't the person that they keep talking about. And then there's no record of it anywhere. So what was this really about? There was no record of anybody being detained. It was saying, yes, there was an arrest, but who was it? What was the call? What was the results of it? Nobody knows. And this happened in New York. So, if you don't have record of it, it wasn't that person. Because that person is like, "No, I got credentials and permission to go to every game, and my credentials are good." He said somebody made a fake video and put it on Tumblr saying that hey, I got fake passports and look at me. But he's like, that wasn't me. I'm nothing wrong with my passports or my credentials. So somebody got to explain to us, like, what's going on? She had probable cause to be upset. But I want to see who investigates that. Who's going to dig for that? All they want to talk about is, her comments about the NBA being rigged. I mean, if you watched that game, you would have thought something was fishy. I mean, those calls are too ridiculous to make in the NBA Finals. But they have to ensure and make sure that there's going to be a Game 7. And it's so funny. People love to bring up the Sacramento Kings Lakers series just because the ref got busted. Look, there's been way worse games than that. Way worse. You can look at 2012 NBA Finals. Oklahoma City versus the Miami Heat. What happened there? It was the highest rated NBA Finals in history. And that was the problem. It was the first time they said, well, let's give it a shot. Let's try out this young blood and see if all this is going to pan off that we have with all this going on in the regular season. Let's see if it carries on into the finals. And it did. And the NBA said, see, our plan is working. Everybody loves this new energy, new blood, new young youth. They're ready to take the finals over. We can keep going with these guys. But it was like one of the worst finals to watch. Because OKC was so much better than Miami, they had to try to control the series by controlling Kevin Durant, calling the most phantom fouls I've ever seen in the NBA Finals. It was the most flops I've ever seen in the NBA Finals. It was terrible. Terrible. And to me, the league suffered because of it. Because they didn't look at it that way. They looked at it as people watch. They tuned in so we can keep this up. And this is the results of what we got in this finals here. This is the results of all that terrible, terrible officiating and terrible ball play. Now, Dallas, their first time in the NBA Finals, they played the Miami Heat with Shaq. Hope y'all remember that series. One of the worst officiated series also. And they wanted Shaq to win an NBA championship. So they screwed Dallas. Mark Cuban was livid. You know, he's not quiet on it. So he's going on a barrage, and the NBA was like, calm down, Mark, we're going to make this up to you. And the year they thought they were going to see Kobe versus LeBron, I said no, they're going to put the Dallas Mavericks in there. People like, are you an idiot? They're going to put Kobe and the Lakers. I said no. It's going to be something different. And that something different is it's going to be the Dallas Mavericks. And the Mavericks will win the NBA championship against the same team they screwed them against. I knew Dallas was going to win. They owed Mark Cuban. That's why Mark Cuban was relaxed this time. He was calm. He didn't lose his mind because they already told him what was going to happen. Because he was doing too much, hiring ex-officials to ref to go over the games and say, what's wrong with this call, that call, this call. They were getting ready to vote him out as an owner. So he had to shut up and play ball. And that's what he did. He shut up, didn't say too much, and played ball. And they rewarded him with a championship. Mark Cuban was a champion. So it's a lot of the stuff that happens, man, it's just crazy. There have been plenty of times where teams won that they weren't supposed to win. The Detroit Pistons. The team was not supposed to win an NBA championship. They viewed Detroit as some little minor stop that was somebody that could rival someone. Detroit made themselves into the team that the NBA just had to get behind. It's like a corporation that don't want to get behind something, but once they see it has a movement, they saying, well, we hate it, but let's get behind it. You know, we can't stop it right now because we got the refs doing their part, but it's still not enough. This team is still winning. How is that possible? It's like, well, did you put Isaiah Thomas in foul trouble? Yes. Then this guy named Microwave came in and scored 30 for something points. What happened? We had Isaiah in foul trouble. Well, did you put Joe Dumars in there? Yeah. Still didn't matter. Aguirre caught fire. Lambeer caught fire. Well, you can go 10 and 11 deep. It's very hard for somebody to rig your team or sabotage you. Especially when you play in the confines of the rules and you can dominate the other team because you outthought them on the court. And they knew how to win games. So, them willing themselves to win 2 NBA championships, the league was not about to let Detroit win a third. They changed the rules to flagrant fouls. They came into the meeting saying, how are we going to stop Detroit now? Can't have this happen. Michael Jordan's got to get it. We got to get Michael Jordan a win or he's going to retire. Another thing Jordan did, and we're going to talk about him at a later time, but that's another thing he did so he can get an NBA ring. He threatened to retire. A lot of people don't know that. After he lost in 1990 to the Detroit Pistons with Phil Jackson, he was about done. If they didn't win in 91, Michael Jordan would have requested a trade or retired. That I know for a fact. Or Jerry Cross would have had to be fired. One of the three was going to happen. Cross is already fired. Basically, Michael Jordan wasn't going to come back. Cross is still there. Jerry Cross did not get a player Michael Jordan wanted. And Michael Jordan was livid. And they went and picked up another player that he thought was better, named Cliff Livingston. And Jordan was livid. He wanted his buddy in there. He was like, look, if Detroit and all these other teams can get these players to help them win, I think this guy can play and help us get in there. I know what he could do. And he was a friend of Michael Jordan's. And he was like, man, everything was good to go. It's like your general manager don't want to do it. And he's like, Michael, that guy's not a good fit for us. We need a guy like Cliff Robinson. And Cliff Robinson came in and took over the team. And he gave them the energy they needed. He was able to fight with Rodman on the boards. And he was what they needed. That's what they called him, good news. Good news come in there, Cliff Livingston. And Michael Jordan was proven wrong. But if they didn't win that championship, you would have saw the breakup of the Bulls, buddy. And that's going to be one story for the ages. But I'm out.